Hello guys, in the previous video we have discussed till section 6 of our competition act, and we have also discussed some related sections. From this video we'll start the remaining sections, and coming to these remaining sections, these are not so important, and also there will be not much concept or not much analysis to be explained from these sections. Having said that, let's start with section 7, Competition Commission of India. I have said you that in RERA we have a regulatory authority as Real Estate Regulation and Development Authority, called as RERA authority. In the same way, the regulation authority in case of Competition Act is our CCI, that is Competition Commission of India. This Competition Commission of India will be established by central government. Central government shall establish the Competition Commission of India, and the status of this Competition Commission is body corporate with a perpetual succession and having a common seal, just like a company. The status of our CCI will be body corporate, and the place of head office of this CCI is established in New Delhi. Thereby we will be completing our section 7. Coming to section 8, composition of CCI, that means who are the members that will be present in CCI, how many members will be present in CCI. Let us discuss this. Basically, the commission shall consist of a chairperson, one chairperson, and minimum 2 members and maximum of 6 members. The CCI will be having one chairperson and members of minimum 2 or maximum of 6, and these members and the chairperson will be appointed by central government on a whole time basis. The chairperson and every other member shall be person of ability, integrity, standing, and who has a special knowledge of such professional experience of not less than 15 years. Basically, this chairperson and the members of CCI should have an experience of not less than 15 years in the respective fields stated here, that is international trade, economics, business, commerce, law. We have various fields. In that fields, these persons should have an experience of not less than 15 years. Then they will be eligible to be appointed as either chairperson or members of Competition Commission of India. That is what section 8 briefly says. Coming to section 9, selection committee for chairperson and other members of the commission. See, section 7 says that chairperson and the members will be appointed by central government, and there will be a committee called as selection committee. This selection committee will recommend the names to the central government. Based on these recommendations, central government will appoint either chairperson and other members of the committee. Therefore, section 9 says the members that will be present in the selection committee. See, this selection committee will make recommendations to the central government. Now let us see who will be present in this selection committee. First one, Chief Justice of India or his nominee. Chief Justice of India will be the nominee of this selection committee. The main purpose of this selection committee is to make recommendation to the central government on who should be appointed as member or chairperson of the this CCI. And the second person in the selection committee is secretary in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Secretary of our MCA will be one of the member of the selection committee, and secretary of Ministry of Law and Justice will also be one of the member of the selection committee, and 2 members will be 2 experts of repute who have special knowledge of and professional experience in international trade, economics, business, commerce, law, etc. Persons who are having experience in these fields will also be members of the selection committee. That from this D section, 2 members will be appointed to the membership of selection committee. These are the members who will be present in the selection committee, and the term of selection committee shall be for a period of 1 year and 6 months from the date of its constitution. See, once the selection committee is constituted with the members said above, such a selection committee will be in force for a period of 1 year 6 months. After such period, again the selection committee will be reconstituted with fresh members. That is what section 9 briefly says about this selection committee. Coming to section 10, term of office of chairperson and other members. Here this chairperson and other members are chairperson of CCI, not selection committee. Section 10 speaks about Competition Commission of India, not selection committee. Only section 9 deals with the selection committee, and remaining all sections are related to Competition Commission. See, the term of chairperson and the members shall be for a period of 5 years, and these members and chairperson will be eligible to be reappointed to CCI, or also these members and chairperson cannot hold office after they have attained age of 65 years. Thereby we can conclude that the tenure of these members and chairperson shall be earlier of their age attaining 65 years or a term of 5 years, whichever is earlier. That is the term of chairperson and members of CCI. See, in case any vacancy occurs in the place of this chairperson or members, then the central government will fill such vacancy. See, in the event of occurrence of vacancy in the office of chairperson by reason of his death, resignation or otherwise, or when the chairperson is unable to discharge his functions owing to absence, illness or any other cause, the senior most member shall discharge the functions of chairperson until the date on which new chairperson appointed or chairperson resumes the charge of his functions, as the case may be. If there is a vacancy, then central government will fill such vacancy. Till the time the vacancy is filled, the position of the functions that the chairperson functions has to be performed by senior most member of the committee. That is what this point says. They have given an example. Coming to section 11, resignation, removal and suspension of chairperson and other members. The chairperson or any other member may resign from his office by notice to the central government, but he need to continue to hold the office until the earliest of further mentioned 3 limits. What are these 3 limits? The expiry of 3 months from the date of receipt of such notice, or until a person duly appointed as successor enters upon his office, or until the expiry of his term of office. See, here the question that arises is whether chairperson and member can resign to their offices. The answer is yes, they can resign their offices by giving notice to the central government. But after giving notice to the central government, till what period, till which period they have to hold the office? Let us say the chairperson of CCI has given his notice of resignation on 1st of August 2021 to central government. Now, after giving his notice, he has to hold the office for a period of 3 months, that is till August, September, October. Till 31st of October he has to hold his office. This is the first period. Let's say within this 3 months, after expiry of 2 months, that is on 30th of September, central government has appointed a new person in the place of this chairperson. On 30 September 2021, the central government has made appointment, and that person has came to take charge of the office. In such case, the person who has given the resignation shall hold the office till 2 months, that is 30 September 2021. Let's say the term of this person who has given resignation expires within 1 month of giving notice, that is on 30 August 2021. Then he has to hold the office only till 30 August 2021. Thereby the conclusion is that after giving notice of resignation to the central government, the person has to hold the office for the earlier of the following periods. What are the periods? First one is till the expiry of 3 months from the giving of notice, or till the time the new person appointed by central government takes charge of office, or the expiry of term of the person. This chairperson has to hold the office till the earlier of these 3 periods. That is what's said by section 11. Let's say the central government may by order remove the chairperson or any other member from his office if such person or member. We have discussed that chairperson can give his notice of resignation to central government. Now the question is whether central government has power to remove the chairperson or member. Yes, the central government has power. In the following cases, the central government can remove the persons from their membership of CCI. What are the cases? If the person is adjudged as insolvent, or at any time his term of office engaged in any paid employment. See, if the chairperson has engaged in any employment outside in any other company, then the central government will remove him from the membership of this CCI. Or convicted of an offence which in the opinion of central government involves moral turpitude. Even in this case, central government has power to remove the chairperson or member. And become physically or mentally incapable of acting a member, that is became in sound mind or physically incapable, or acquired such financial or other interest as is likely to affect prejudicially his functions as member. He has acquired any financial interest that will not allow him to perform his functions in a prejudicial manner. Even in those cases, central government has power to remove the member or chairperson. Or abused his position as to render his continuance of office prejudicial to the public interest. If he abuses his position, even in that case, central government will remove the members. That is what briefly said by section 11. Coming to section 12, restriction on employment of chairperson and other members in certain cases. See, the chairperson and other members shall not, for a period of 2 years from the date on which they cease to hold office, accept any employment in or be connected with the management or administration of any enterprise which has been a party to proceedings before the commission. See, this chairperson and member shall not hold office, shall not be appointed as employment of any other company for a period of 2 years, and the company should be the party to the proceedings before CCI. Let us understand this with example. Let's say Reliance Industries was one of the party to some proceedings before CCI, and during that proceedings Mr. Ramu was chairperson of this CCI. Here, after completion of the proceedings, Ramu's term in this CCI has completed and he has came out of CCI. Now, after coming out of CCI, this Ramu cannot be appointed as employee of the Reliance Industries for a period of 2 years. That is what said by section 12. However, this restriction is not applicable to public sector undertakings or the central government or state government or local authority or in any statutory authority or any corporation established by or under any central, state or provincial act or government company as defined in section 617 of Companies Act 1956. See, let's say instead of Reliance Industries, let's say party to the proceedings was some government company, let's say NMDC, it is a government company, it was party to the proceedings. In this case, Ramu can be appointed as employee of NMDC even in 2 years. This exception is not applicable to government companies and government establishments, whether it might be state or central. That was briefly said by section 12. Coming to section 13, administrative powers of chairperson. What are the powers that the chairperson has? The chairperson shall have the powers of general superintendence, direction and control in respect of all administrative matters of commission. The chairperson may delegate his powers to any other member or officer of the commission as he may think fit. See, the chairperson has power to delegate his functions to any other member of the CCI. Coming to section 14, salary and allowances. See, this salary and allowances of a chairperson and members will be as may be prescribed in Competition Commission of India salary allowances and other terms and conditions of service of chairperson and other members rules 2003. Their salaries will be as prescribed in the rules of 2003 and the same shall not be varied to their disadvantage after their appointment. Okay, section 14 deals with the salary and emoluments of the chairperson and the members. Coming to section 15, vacancy etc. not to invalidate proceedings of commission. The validity of proceedings of commission are ensured through the exclusion of defects in the appointment or procedure. Any act or proceeding of the commission shall not be invalidated merely on the ground that there is a vacancy or defect in the constitution of the commission or defect in the appointment or any irregularity in the procedure of the commission not affecting the merits of the case. Let's say in the example we have discussed, the Reliance Industries was party to one of the proceedings before CCI. In these proceedings, CCI has concluded these proceedings in favor of Reliance Industries. Now, after completion of the proceedings, it came to the light that the number of members in this CCI was 8 members. We have discussed that maximum number of members in CCI can be only 6, but here the number of members were 8. Now, due to the fact that the CCI was wrongly constituted, the proceedings already completed cannot be invalidated. This is what said by section 15. Going to section 16, appointment of Director General etc. See, a Director General will assist the commission in conducting an inquiry. We have discussed that CCI will conduct an inquiry to decide whether the agreement is having adverse effect on the competition or whether any combination that is taking place is having adverse effect on the competition. For the purpose of such inquiry, the commission will be assisted by Director General. Now, who will appoint this Director General? Let's see. And the a director general who will assist the commission in conducting an inquiry and perform such other functions as may be provided may be appointed by central government in the manner at the salary allowances and other terms and conditions of service as prescribed in Competition Commission of India Director General Recruitment Rules 2009. The appointment of this Director General will be made by the central government with such a salary as prescribed in the rules, and the number, manner of appointment, salary, allowances and other terms and conditions of service of additional joint deputy or assistant director general or such other officers or employees in the office of director general shall be as prescribed in Competition Commission of India rules. The how many members of this director generals should be appointed and what will be the salary of these persons and what are the terms and conditions of this appointment, all this will be as prescribed in the rules specified on 2009. That was section 16. Coming to section 17, secretary and officers and other employees of commission. See, apart from chairperson and members, commission, the CCI will also require some employees for the purpose of conducting their routine administrative works. Therefore, the commission may appoint a secretary and such officers and other employees as it considers necessary for the efficient performance of its functions under this act. The CCI has power to appoint employees and secretary to it. That was said by section 17. Coming to duties, powers and functions of commission. Section 18. What are the duties and functions of our commission? First of all, we will see the duties. Subject to provisions of this act, commission shall be duty bound to perform following 4 duties. The first duty is to eliminate practices having adverse effect on competition. The main duty of CCI is to eliminate or not to allow any agreements or combinations that will have adverse effect on the competition. That was the first duty of CCI. Coming to the second duty, to promote and sustain competition in markets in India. That means to promote the competition. Coming to the third function, to protect the interest of consumers. And the fourth duty is to ensure freedom of trade carried on by other participants in markets in India. These 4 are the duties of our Competition Commission of India. Section 19, we have discussed this section 19 with relevant sections of section 3, 4, 5 and 6. That is relevant product market. We have discussed this section 19 while discussing those sections. Even section 20 we have discussed. See, coming to section 21, reference by statutory authority. Let's say there is a particular case pending before Tribunal of Companies Act, and the Tribunal of Companies Act is of the opinion that this case will have some impact on the competition in India, and therefore tribunal thinks that this matter has to be referred to Competition Commission of India. The question here arises is whether the tribunal can refer the matter to CCI. The answer is yes. The tribunal can refer this matter which is having adverse effect on competition in India to CCI. That is what's said by section 21. In the same way, section 21A, let's say a particular matter was pending before CCI. Now CCI is of the opinion that a particular issue in this case will have some effect on other acts such as the Companies Act, and the CCI wants to refer the that matter to Tribunal of Companies Act, whether the CCI can refer to tribunal or not. The answer is yes, the CCI can refer such matter to tribunal. That is what said by section 21A. Coming to section 22, meetings of commission. The commission shall meet at such times and places and observe such rules and procedures in regard to transaction of business at its meeting as may be provided in the Competition Commission of India Regulations 2009. And quorum for such meetings shall be 3 members. And if for any reason the chairperson is unable to attend a meeting, senior most member present at the meeting shall preside at the meeting. Let's say chairperson is absent from the meeting, then the senior most member of the CCI will take over the meeting, will perform the functions of the chairperson for such meeting. And matters shall be decided by majority of members. The voting power with which the matter has to be confirmed is majority of the voting power of members. In the event of equality of votes, the chairperson or preceding member in his absence shall have second or casting vote. See, if any matter has become tie, then the chairperson will have a extra vote called as casting vote. Coming to section 26, procedure for inquiry under section 19. This is a procedural section. I think you can understand this once you read it. I recommend you to read this section, and if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. Orders by commission after inquiry. This is connected section to 19. You can understand once you read this section. I recommend you to read both of these sections. Coming to section 28, division of enterprise enjoying dominant position. The commission may direct division of an enterprise which is enjoying a dominant position so as to ensure that it does not abuse its dominant position. See, for this the example is Facebook. The Facebook is dominant in its industry. It is having Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp. Presently there is a chance that this Facebook company will be divided into 3 companies. Facebook will be one company, and WhatsApp will be one company, and Instagram will be another company. There are talks going on in US Federal Commission that Facebook has to be divided into these 3 companies so as to reduce the dominant position of the Facebook. Even in India, the CCI has power to divide any company that enjoys dominant position. That is what said by section 28. Procedure for investigation of combination. We have discussed this while discussing section 6. I have given a brief chart and explained you how the procedure will be, and the still further detailings will be dealt in the section 29 once you can read that section. Okay, section 31. All this you can read. Yeah, this one. Section 32. Acts taking place outside India but having an effect on competition in India. See, we have discussed that Competition Commission of India can prohibit those agreements that are having adverse effect on competition in India. But let us say an agreement referred to in section 3 has been entered outside India, but the adverse effect is taking place on competition in India. Whether in this situation, whether CCI has power to stop such kinds of agreement? The answer is yes, CCI has power to stop such agreements even if agreements have taken place outside India, but the adverse effect on competition is in India. Coming to second one, any party to such agreement is outside India. Let's say a particular party to such agreement which has adverse effect is located outside India. Even in such case, the CCI has power to stop the agreement if such agreement is creating adverse effect on competition in India. Sorry. And third one, any enterprise abusing the dominant position is outside India. Let's say any enterprise that is located outside India is abusing its dominant position, and due to such abuse it is having adverse effect of on competition in India. Even in such case, CCI can interfere into the matter. A combination has taken place outside India but has adverse effect in India. Even in this case, CCI can interfere. Any party to combination is outside India, CCI can interfere. Sorry. Any other matter or practice or action arising out of such agreement or dominant position or combination is outside India, but the adverse effect on competition is taking place in India. Even then, CCI can interfere into the matter. That is what section 32 briefly says. And I think all the remaining sections are just procedural sections, and some are related to the penalty sections. I think you can read these sections, and if you have any doubts you can ask me in the comment section, and I will reply. All the procedural and penalty sections and miscellaneous sections, I think you can cover these sections, and by this our Competition Act has completed.